Hi boys and girls. This is Topic 1 lessons. We're working with place value. These are mini lessons that support the math lessons that were taught in class. Let's look at what we're going to be learning about. First one that we're going to be looking at is different forms of numbers. We're going to be looking at the hundreds place value, the thousands place value, hundred thousands place value, and finally we're going to look at comparing numbers. So let's look at lesson 1, place value. First off, all numbers are made from digits. Digits are 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. With numbers, there are 3 different forms that we can put the number in. The first one is standard form, which you're most comfortable with, that you've been working with since you were in kindergarten. The next one is expanded form, where we take each place value and expand it out. So in the number 125, we have the number 100, so 100. We have 2 tens, and we have 5 ones. And then finally we have word form, 125. And notice the hyphen that we put in between the 10 and the ones column, 25. We also, with place value, we can model it with blocks. Each of these here are 2 hundreds blocks, which represent the 200s. We have 4 tens blocks, so 10, 20, 30, and 40. So 4 tens. And then finally, we have 7 ones. So we represent place value by a hundreds column, tens column, and the ones column. We also can put it in a different way with this number 346. We have 3 hundreds blocks, we have 4 tens blocks, and we have 6 ones blocks. So in standard form, we would write it as the digits 346. In expanded form, we have 3 hundreds. So for 300, we have 4 tens for 40, and we have 6 ones for 6. So 300 plus 40 plus 6. And finally, in word form, 346. And notice the hyphen there when we write that number. All right, we have this place value, 105. And notice in this particular one, we don't have any tens. So we put 1 in the hundreds. We have 0 tens and 5 ones. So standard form is 105. Expanded form is 100 plus 5. And once again, there are no tens. And in word form, we write 105. All right, we're moving on now to thousands place. And here, we not only have our ones place, our tens place that we've worked with, and the hundreds place, but now we're introducing the thousands place. And the thousands in our models are represented by a thousands cube. So the 4th place value from the right is the thousands place. Here we're going to place a comma between the thousands place and the hundreds place. So right here we have a comma between the 1 and the 2, and we read this as 1,247. So here we have the standard form, 1,247. In expanded form, we do the same thing as we did with our earlier examples, but this time we're representing the thousands place value. So we have 1,000 plus 2 hundreds, 200, plus 4 tens for 40, plus 7 ones for plus 7. And then word form, we write 1,000, and notice the comma, 1,247. And we have a little note here. It says in word form, there is a hyphen between the tens place value and the ones place. If there is a 0 in the tens column, then you don't need a hyphen, as we saw earlier. So we're going to look at a couple of examples here. We have 6,524, 3,458. What you can do right now is you can go through and you can write the word form into standard form. And let's see how You do. So here's our 6,524. We have 6 in the thousands place, we have 5 hundreds, and we have 24. So 2 tens and 4 ones, and notice the comma. In the second example you were asked to look at, we had 3,458. So we have 3 in the thousands column with a comma between the thousands and the hundreds, 4 hundreds, and 58, 5 tens and 8 ones. Now we're going to expand on and we're going to add hundred thousands place value. And here we were talking about a comma earlier, and so here's a little bit more of a definition for it. We call it a period. A period is a group of 3 digits in a number starting from the right. So here we have the ones period and we have the thousands period. The ones period makes up the ones, tens, and hundreds place. The thousands place is made up from the thousands place value, the 10,000s place value, and the 100,000s place value. And so our number here that we're going to be working with is 111,111. So in standard form, which is also number form, we have the number written with a comma between the thousands place value and the ones place value. In expanded form, we expand it out, so we have 100,000 plus 10,000 plus 1,000 plus 100 plus 10 plus 1. And then in word form, we write it as 111,111. And notice in this example, boys and girls, we don't have a hyphen because we write the number 11. Now we're going to look at comparing numbers. When we compare numbers, you will use the symbols less than, greater than, and equal. So the less than, the Pac-Man is opening to the right. In greater than, the Pac-Man opens to the left. And the equal sign, that signifies that both numbers are the same. So when we look at comparing two numbers, you always start with the largest place value and work towards the ones place. So we're going to compare two numbers here. We have 2,875 and 2,859. The first thing we look at is we look at the thousands place value. And as we see, we have a 2 in 2,875 and we have a 2 in the thousands for 2,859. So between these two numbers, we can't determine which number is larger. So we need to move on to the hundreds column. And if we look at the hundreds column, again, we have an 8 in the hundreds here in the column there, and we have an 8 in the hundreds column for 2,859. So based on this, we still can't determine which number is greater. So then we need to look at the tens column. And in 2,875, we have a 7 in the tens column, and 2,859, we have a 5 in the tens column. So since 7 is greater than 5, then 2,875 is greater than 2,859. So now we're going to look at ordering three numbers. So ordering three numbers can be done from least to greatest or greatest to least. The steps are easy for ordering three numbers. Just like what you did for two numbers, you're going to do the same thing for three numbers. You're going to start with the largest place value and work towards the ones place. So here we have three numbers. We have 2,752, we have 3,293, and we have 3,265. Now we're looking at the largest number, and so in this particular example, we see we have a 2 in the thousands place, we have a 3 in the thousands place, and we have a 3 in the thousands place. So this number here, 2,752, I know will be the smallest number. But based on these two numbers here, I can't determine which number is greater. So I need to go and look at the hundreds column. And when I look at 3,293 and 3,265, again, I have the same digit in the hundreds column. So I need to I need to go next door to the tens column. And when I look at the tens column, in 3,293, I have a 9 in the tens column. And in 3,265, I have a 6 in the tens column. So the 9 is greater than the 6. So then we know 3,293 is greater than 3,265. So then we write this at the bottom. You can see how we write this. 3,293 is greater than 3,265 is greater than 2,752. Or if we're going to work from least to greatest, we're going to put 2,752 is less than 3,265 is less than 3,293. So this is the lessons that we covered in class. If you have any additional questions, please see us during class math time tomorrow, and we'll be more than happy to answer your questions. Have a good evening.